Welcome to the City of Beaufort Veterans Day Parade. My name is Rick Forshner, and I'm joined with...
I'm Scott Grooms. How are you, Rick?
Doing great, Scott. And what an appropriate time to get things going here, because I hear the United States Marine Corps Parris Island Marine Band directly behind us.
And it's always a fun time to come out. We've been doing this parade for quite a number of years now, as it's been in the area for quite a number of years.
Yeah.
And so you're right, Marine Corps Band right now.
And it's being led off by the City of Beaufort Police Department. And directly behind it is the Color Guard from Parris Island, the Eastern Recruit Depot recruit region.
And of course, one of three bases here in Beaufort.
That's right. We've got the Marine Corps Recruit Training Depot, as well as the U.S. Naval Hospital, and of course, the Marine Corps Air Station. Anybody who's ever had the opportunity to travel up Highway 21 gets to see just some of the planes that have flown out of the air station. Well, looking at the lineup here, this is a group of representatives from both the air station and from Parris Island's Marine Corps Training Recruit Depot. We've got Sergeant Major of HNHS. Let's see, Edward Hebron. That's right. And Colonel Timothy Miller was up ahead of him, along with Colonel Randall Hoffman. And now here's the band.
What a privilege it is to have the Marine Corps Band in the parade.
Indeed it is. There's Ed Steffen, who is riding the his famous Lincoln Continental convertible and is carrying the Grand Marshal of the parade, Gardner Miller, who is a World War II Army veteran. Now, we're really excited because this not only is the Veterans Day Parade, but it's also the yesterday was the 242nd birthday of the United States Marine Corps.
And our color guard's coming by right now. And Rick, you need one of these.
I'll tell you, I could probably make it to work in about 2 hours. It doesn't look like it's very fast, but it is very, very cool.
And very versatile.
It is a World War II Jeep owned and driven by Ray Cording.
And this is very cool with the little trailer on the back of it.
Here is our esteemed mayor of the city of Beaufort, and along with some council members, Mr. Billy Kaiserling. It is a chilly morning out here, but we've got some dedicated parade viewers. Probably wind chill, I'd say, about in the low 40s, wouldn't you, Scott?
It's definitely quite cold right now.
Look at this. This is the AMVETS group based out of Port Royal. A number of their members and sponsors.
That'd be post 70. And another color guard.
This the DAV Chapter 12, and they are driving their transportation network truck, which was in part helped by Sergeant White. You've eaten at Sergeant White's, haven't you?
Quite often.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
You definitely get full at Sergeant White's.
All right, now. I'm not sure who that is on the tricycle, but I wouldn't mind having one. Probably faster than a Jeep.
You don't have one of those?
There we go. Here's Sergeant White's diner.
There you go. Sergeant White's truck right there.
Hey, guys. How you doing? I love it.
Do you let somebody borrow your bike, Rick?
I'll tell you what. You're getting a little bit better now in transportation. This thing looks like it. These hogs look like they would really move.
And coming up, Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 8760.
All right. Hey, all right, gentlemen, we appreciate your service. This really is a great turnout and a good commemoration. Despite the cold weather, people are lined up and down Boundary Street, all the way down Carteret, and ending up on Bay Street. And here's the Montford Point Marine Association Chapter 9 float. That, of course, the Montford Marines were the first African Marines to serve in the Marine Corps. And they are followed by the Military Officers Association of America Low Country Chapter. And you can always hear the 82nd Airborne coming.
And the Military Officers Association of America Low Country Chapter.
This is the Ben van der Woof chapter of the 82nd Airborne.
And they're always in the parade.
Based out of what's
Savannah, Hilton Head, and all Airborne chapter.
That's right.
See, I can read the banner.
I was trying to remember the fort up in North Carolina, though. That the 82nd Airborne is based out of.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody will call in and
let
us know about that shortly.
The sad thing about it, getting older, you forget these well-known facts. Now, here's some future Parris Island Marine wannabes. These are the young Parris Island Marine Corps band group. I don't even have them listed in being in the parade. I think they've kind of slipped in.
Okay. Here, you take that and we'll change some batteries.
Okay. Always a dog or two in the parade. Love that. And there's the Marine Corps League, post 1154. You know, all these groups are involved in supporting our military men and women. Now here are the Yellow Footprints Detachment 7158. I got a couple of those folks.
Number of cars from them, actually.
Yeah. You know what the Yellow Footprints are, don't you?
And what's that, Rick?
Well, you know, if you are brave enough to enter the Marine Corps, your very first introduction is you're brought in about 3 o'clock in the morning, and you are roused off the bus and forced to put your feet in these yellow footprints that have been put right on the staging area as you enter the recruit program that runs about 13 weeks.
Yeah, I've seen that out there, yeah.
I don't think I could do it. Not these days.
I was out there for a media day, and I didn't last too long.
We've got the Sons of Union Veterans of the Civil War, and they've just passed, along with Fred Washington, who is now serving with the Women's Relief Corps. Fred has been very actively involved in many activities in Beaufort for many, many years, and we appreciate all his service. The Daughters of the Union Veterans of the Civil War also passed, and we've got the Gold Star Mother here. The Gold Star Mother, as you know, is the mother who has lost a loved one in the line of duty.
And again, a number of people coming out to support the Veterans Day Parade, and of course the ceremony that's coming up shortly after the Veterans Day Parade. Always a big event here in Beaufort.
Indeed. This is a military town by all means. There are people that serve here. They come to Parris Island and get trained and maybe even serve a tour of duty either here or at the air station. And oftentimes, after they've put in 20 or 30 years, they end up retiring here because of not only the great amount of services that are provided by both the air station and the Naval Hospital and the Recruit Training Depot, but because of the great climate that Beaufort is known for, except for today, maybe.
Except for today. And of course, there's so many bases just in the general area, everything from Fort Stewart down Harnett Army Airfield, the 3 bases we have here, Charleston Air Force Base, just to name a few, and everything culminated right in this area.
Indeed. Now, coming up here, we've got some warriors. This is the Junior ROTC USMC Color Guard and Drill Platoon.
And they're from Royal Branch Early College High School.
All right. They are in perfect formation. And they've got everything except a band with them. If they had that, they'd be hard to distinguish from the Marine Corps band.
They are definitely dressed out and looking sharp.
Indeed.
Some bagpipes. You want to give it a whirl, Rick?
No, I don't think that's my cup of tea today.
There you go. Port Royal Mayor Sam Murray coming up.
Indeed.
Of course, Mr. Murray's in every parade we've had here.
Well, he's been serving for many, many years with great distinction in the town of Port Royal. Mr. Mayor, how you doing, sir? Now, here's the Beaufort High Air Force Junior ROTC.
And look how many people are here.
There are. I had no idea that there was such a large group. Up they go into the wild blue yonder. We've got quite a few attendees at today's parade, as well as some great participants. Coming up here, we've got the Classic Car and Truck Club of Beaufort. This consists, according to my notes, of 12 cars that are in the parade today. And of course, if you've ever had an opportunity to go to many of the various activities around town, these folks often show up. And we've got a classic Mustang here.
That's beautiful right there.
Not sure what year that is. I think the first year of the Mustangs was a 64. Not sure that one's a 64. What is this one here? Is this a Chevelle?
That would be a Chevy Nova.
Chevy
Yes,
Nova, yeah,
yes.
Okay. Now we're talking.
And again, if you miss one of these cars, somebody will call in and let us know exactly what it is.
That is for sure. Here's a Bel Air. I love this one. Beautiful two-tone Bel Air, kind of a salmon and gray colored. And now this is a Camaro. Now, this is one of the great things about having grown up when I did. Everybody wanted to be in the Camaro in my driver's ed training course. We had 5 Impalas and 1 Camaro, and of course everybody wanted to be in the Camaro.
That's awesome.
Corvette. And what is the black car here? It looks like some type of a Chrysler product. No, it's a Jaguar.
That's a Jaguar.
All right.
Those
all right.
Chrysler Jaguars.
Chrysler
you know that.
Jaguars. All right.
Yeah, nice Jaguar. And that would be, I think that's a Rambler.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
Rambler.
Nice looking. Very patriotic. Has an American flag on the antenna there.
And I think that's another Jag.
Another Jag. Yeah.
And actually, this is my favorite coming up. This pickup is just awesome.
Everybody needs a pickup, I tell you.
Never can do without it.
Whether you carting trash to the dump or just bringing some lumber from Lowe's, you need a pickup. I have no idea what that is.
That's a rat rod, Rick.
A rat rod, okay.
Yep. And then a Dodge Charger.
What a great turnout there from the Beaufort Classic Car Club.
Yep.
In just a minute, we're going to be seeing another classic car, a 1934 Plymouth Classic. But before that, we have some great music from Bridges Prep School. They actually are located right across from where we're stationed in the Old Boys and Girls Club building.
And they are sounding good. You always got to have a couple of bands in the parade.
This is one of a handful of charter schools that we've got here in the Low Country, and they are well represented. Charter schools are able to do just about anything that a public regular school can do. They give you a little more flexibility, however, in terms of where you have to live and some of the courses that you can take.
And it's good to see they have a band program. That's a great way to learn some discipline. Marching band is incredible.
Didn't you used to play in the band?
I played in the band, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What was your instrument of choice?
Clarinet, bass clarinet, saxophone.
Not
I
bad.
had quite a few.
All right. So now we've got the Knights of Columbus just passed, and behind them the there's the Knights of Columbus. And now here's the Beaufort Water Festival Pirettes.
And
the Pirettes look like they're really bundled up today, but you can see them July 13th through the 22nd, and they'll be a little more decked out for summer-type weather.
And the Pirettes travel to all of the parades in the area promoting the Water Festival. Of course, Water Festival, a great time during the summer here.
That really is our highlight of the summer here in the Low Country, with just various assorted musical groups throughout the week, some great dancing, and of course some great eating on the Thursday evening edition.
Here's our friends from the Technical College of the Low Country.
And Battery Creek High School has its junior ROTC program well represented as well.
And this would be the Marine Corps ROTC.
I could never be like one of these drill instructors. I think I'd lose my voice if I sounded like them.
It'd be fun to try, though, I tell you.
Yeah. Now, the Beaufort Battery Creek High School Anime Club. I am not exactly sure what the Anime Club does, but they're decked out as
You need one of those hats, Rick.
hats.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Nice, nice Jeep.
And now here's Duke's Towing and Auto, making sure that freedom rings throughout the Low Country. And they are represented by the homecoming king and homecoming queen of
That's got to be Battery Creek High
Battery Creek
School.
High School, indeed.
And here's some cheerleaders from Battery Creek
All
High.
right. Morning. All right, Butler Chrysler Dodge Jeep is now in the parade here, and they've got some representatives.
Yep, and I think they're supplying the vehicles for Battery Creek High School to be in the parade. These are some more, I believe, the cheerleaders.
All right.
Battery Creek having a great showing in the parade.
Well, I hope nobody breaks down, because both of Duke's tow trucks are in the parade, so they won't be able to leave to accommodate anybody. But this is the Students Against Drunk Drivers. Well, that's just one of the representatives on this particular Duke's truck.
U.S. Navy, the Army, you got Air Force, Marines, so everything's on this truck. Coast Guard,
All right.
always got to remember the Coast Guard in the
Semper
services.
Paratus, always prepared. Carolina Realty is able to sell even one of the small houses, and I think this is one of them on this float that we've got here.
Always love this float.
You will always see an under contract sign when you see Carolina Realty, represented by their broker in charge, John Oust. Beaufort Church of the Nazarene is here, and behind them, who do we have? Mount Carmel Church has got its own float. And bringing up the rear is another church, the Ebenezer Baptist Church.
So a number of our churches in the parade today represented, supporting the veterans.
Well, we're nearing the end of our parade, but we've got a good representation from Helena Place. If you need an opportunity for assisted living, Helena Place can be found here in the Low Country.
And Helena Place, again, got one of their vehicles in the parade.
Now, we talked about the variety of armed forces that are represented, but we also have another army, and that's the Salvation Army. Whenever there is any type of a need, you can find the Salvation Army there, whether it's in a time of crisis or whether a storm has occurred. The Salvation Army stands ready to serve and to share not only physical needs but spiritual needs as well.
And they have one of their trucks in the parade. They also take donations to support them. So you got to remember the Salvation Army if you need to donate anything.
Indeed.
Some more motorcycles.
The Salvation Army was originally set up by Major Booth as a vehicle to not only provide some physical needs, but also to share the hope that is found in a relationship with Jesus Christ. Now we've got the end of the parade here, and it is being brought to us by the Beaufort Port Royal Fire Department.
And of course, you always have to remember the first responders on Veterans Day.
Indeed, the police, the fire, EMS folks, they're all what keep a city running safely.
And so they've got all their pumpers, and they got a snorkel truck, a couple of snorkel trucks actually in the parade.
Well, Scott, these are some impressive looking trucks.
Absolutely.
When we did our interview a couple of years ago with the folks at the Bluffton Fire Department, I was shocked to learn that one of these large trucks costs upwards of $300,000 plus.
Mm-hmm. They are very expensive, well engineered, just amazing. And they can go pretty much anywhere.
Yes, indeed. Well, Scott, that looks like the end of our parade for this Veterans Day 2017.
It's been a really great parade. I'd say well represented. A lot of people representing all of the armed forces here in the Veterans Day Parade. Of course, it's always our pleasure to be here doing the Veterans Day Parade, and we'll, of course, go down and do the ceremony here in just a couple of minutes.
Fantastic. Looking forward to that. And again, it's not just the Veterans Day that we're celebrating this weekend, but also the 242nd birthday of the United States Marine Corps.
Hoorah! Hoorah!
Well, that's it.
That wraps it up for us.
Thanks for joining us.
The County Channel is also available on video on demand. Go to bcgov.net, click on the County Channel logo, and select your program from the list. If you would like a DVD of this program, click DVD order form from the County Channel main page and fill out an order form.
Here's what's happening in Beaufort County.
All right, we'll stop right here in the sun so we can all warm up a little bit. How about that?
When the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources announced a series of public tours of their archaeological excavation at Fort Frederick in Port Royal, the response was testament to the keen interest local residents have in the heritage of their area and the importance they place on the preservation and understanding of the past. Guided tours were offered every Friday during the dig. Hundreds attended.
Hi everyone, I'm Meg Gilliard. I'm one of two archaeologists at the Department of Natural Resources. Sean Taylor, standing behind you with the DNR cap, is our other archaeologist. I'll be leading your tour today.
Archaeologists today do a lot more public tours than they did in the past, at least in my experience they have. And I think it's an extremely important element of archaeology to bring the public in and make them understand how archaeology works. And it's extremely important for people to understand that archaeology doesn't just happen over in Egypt or Italy, but it's happening in your backyard in South Carolina, all the time.
What they're doing in the archaeology right now within the fort is they're doing what we're calling trenching.
We weren't quite sure how to approach it. We decided to leave part of it intact. This particular trench we put here because one of our shovel tests uncovered this brick rubble. It hit the brick rubble, and we thought we saw some articulated brick underneath that. So,
we take the material remains of the past, and from that we can extract a story and answer a lot of questions that we don't know, things that were never written down.
You know, so much of the things that we dig up were never written down or talked about, and you're not going to go find them in a history book. The only way we're going to get at the day-to-day lives of most of the people is through their archaeological, the stuff they threw away. We're going to look through their garbage to find out what their lives were like. What did they eat? How well off were they? Any kind of questions you might want to ask, that's where you're going to have to answer them from.
If I went through your garbage can at home today, what would it tell me about you and what y'all did yesterday and last night?
So a lot of these pieces, see here, you can see a negative impression of what was a piece of wood or something. So there's some kind of structure with a wall, and then they, plastered up. So this is would have been the exterior, this flatter face here.
It's extremely important for archaeologists to be able to do that, to relate to the local population, to relate to people who are interested in the sites in their backyard, in their local community.
These things are going to tell us all about these people's lives.
Archaeologists don't only excavate artifacts and excavate the context of a site and features, but we're telling the story of the human past.
Well, if y'all would like to see what's actually coming out of the units, we can make our way over to the mechanical screens. The mechanical screens run and sift the dirt. It helps archaeologists save their backs a little bit. And then that dirt is then poured into these screens and sorted through, and that's what they're doing right now.
It's very co-curricular is what we would call it in the public school system. You can teach math, science, literature, history, every single subject you can teach with archaeology, with a study of archaeology.
What is this called? Stratigraphy. All that's in the stratigraphy, and Tamara and the other archaeologists dug out that whole feature right there.
We try to hit on those high points, but not get too deep into the technical jargon, not get too deep into the things that adults would be more interested in.
Today, is it? No.
If they come away with one concept, if they come away knowing one thing from that site, I feel like that's a win.
Cannon would have been and what it would have looked like, because over there you see how it's all falling.
For information about tours and other events at South Carolina's 17 cultural heritage preserves, find the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources on Facebook or visit dnr.sc.gov.